Welcome to Untold Lores, The Mentor's Betrayal, Part 2 of 4. Marcus Ravencrest stepped from the shadows, and Kael's world shattered like glass around him. The man who had raised him, trained him, died protecting him, stood before the altar as alive as the day he'd supposedly fallen to Shadow King's assassins. But something was terribly wrong with his beloved mentor's appearance. Marcus's eyes, once a warm brown that had looked upon Kael with fatherly affection, now burned with an inner darkness that seemed to devour light itself. His skin had taken on a pale, almost translucent quality, and when he smiled, Kael caught a glimpse of teeth that were far too sharp for any human mouth. "Hello, my dear boy," Marcus said, his voice carrying the same gentle cadence that had once taught Kael his first sword forms, now laced with something cold and predatory. "I see you finally claimed your birthright." The dragon heart pulsed in Kael's grip, its golden light flickering as if responding to Marcus's presence. Kael's hand trembled, whether from the gem's power or his own shock, he couldn't tell. "You're dead," he whispered, the words scraping from his throat like broken glass. "I watched them burn your body. I scattered your ashes myself." Marcus laughed, the sound echoing off the ancient walls with a quality that made Kael's bones ache. Death is such a limited concept, don't you think, especially when one serves a master who views mortality as merely another obstacle to overcome. The truth hit Kael like a physical blow, driving him to his knees on the polished stone floor. Everything, his training, his purpose, his entire life, had been a lie. Marcus had been the Shadow King's servant all along, grooming him not to be humanity's savior, but to be the perfect vessel for corruption. Why? The word came out as barely more than a breath, heavy with 20 years of betrayal and broken trust. "Because the Shadow King needs a pure heart to corrupt, my boy. Evil can be destroyed, but corrupted good, that endures forever." Marcus began to circle the altar, his movements fluid and predatory, like a wolf stalking wounded prey. "You were perfect, Kael. Noble, brave, self-sacrificing, everything a hero should be. And now, with the dragon heart in your hands, you're ready for your true purpose." The gem grew warmer in Kael's grip, and he could feel tendrils of dark energy beginning to seep from its faceted surface. The golden light within was slowly being consumed by creeping shadows, just as his certainty about right and wrong was crumbling under the weight of this revelation. "Fight it if you like," Marcus continued conversationally, as if discussing the weather rather than the corruption of a soul. "The struggle always makes the final result more satisfying. The Shadow King has waited 3 millennia for this moment. He can wait a little longer while you rage against the inevitable." Kael forced himself to his feet, legs shaking with the effort. The dragon heart was becoming heavier in his hands, its corruption spreading up his arms like frost, numbing his fingers and sending ice through his veins. But somewhere deep in his chest, a spark of defiance still burned. "I won't let you use me," he snarled, raising the gem above his head. "I'll destroy it first." Marcus's expression didn't change, but his eyes gleamed with something that might have been pride. "There's the spirit that made you so perfect for this role. But you can't destroy the dragon heart, my dear boy. It's already become part of you." And as the words left his mentor's lips, Kael felt the horrible truth of them. The gem wasn't just in his hands anymore. It was fused to his palms, its crystalline surface melding with his flesh in a union that would never be broken. The corruption spread faster now, racing up his arms and toward his heart, carrying with it whispers of power beyond imagination and darkness beyond redemption. His reflection in the crystal altar's surface showed eyes that were no longer entirely his own, violet irises now shot through with veins of shadow. The transformation had begun, and there was no force in heaven or earth that could stop it now. Marcus stepped closer, reaching out as if to embrace his former student, his face showing genuine affection mixed with terrible satisfaction. "Welcome to your destiny, Kael Thorn. The Shadow King is eager to meet his new general." But as Marcus's hand touched Kael's shoulder, the ancient temple began to collapse, and Kael realized the dragon heart wasn't trying to corrupt him, it was trying to escape. That's it for Part 2. Follow Untold Lores for Part 3. Like and subscribe for daily stories.